Eastern.
And one final note, at our customer's request, we'll be ending our webcast a little bit earlier than usual today, and we'll be wrapping up just after the landing of the Falcon 9 first stage. So with that, let's take a look at one of the Bandwagon payloads we'll be sending to orbit today, Tomorrow 57, on behalf of Tomorrow Companies.
The impact of what we're doing at Tomorrow is once in a lifetime.
There's so many challenges and obstacles along the way.
Most weather companies have access to the same data.
We are putting instruments in space, so many things can go wrong.
Is hourly coverage enough, or do we need to go down to 30 minutes or better?
We're seeing heavier rainfall. We're seeing stronger hurricanes and tornadoes and all types of storms, and we're seeing them more frequently. So the economy is basically begging for data, begging to have better weather forecasts so they know literally what's coming.
People cannot, businesses cannot just consume models out of the gate. They need a product, a platform that can help them make decisions at scale so they can become more resilient. That's the goal.
Tomorrow.io had essentially decided that microwave sounders is going to be where they're going to focus on.
With our constellation, once it's fully in place, you can see there's hardly any gaps left.
Devoting your life to building hardware that goes to space is a bit of insanity because you spend a lot of time, and then there's this one moment where whatever you build gets launched and it either works or it doesn't.
2, 1, ignition.
I have seen something go from hardware in a pile to being launched in a year and a half.
You get the first scan from space and it looks beautiful. It's like, holy cow, we made it.
This changes everything that we've thought of as critical in the last 30 years.
If we win, everyone wins in the world. It's truly a game-changer technology that is helping every individual out there.
Another exciting payload on board today is Atmos Space Cargo's Phoenix re-entry capsule. During this mission, Atmos is looking to become the first non-governmental European entity to attempt re-entry from space.
And another notable first for this mission, when Phoenix separates from Falcon 9's second stage, it will be SpaceX's first time deploying a spacecraft after a second stage deorbit burn. Here's a little bit more from our customer on the Phoenix re-entry capsule.
Bandwagon-3 payloads are currently awaiting liftoff of Falcon 9 in just over 5 minutes and 45 seconds. While the countdown continues, let's meet SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket. Falcon 9 is a two-stage rocket designed for the reliable and safe transport of satellites, cargo, and people to outer space.
Located at the very top of the rocket is the payload fairing. The fairing is a protective shell that houses all of the spacecraft, shielding them from aerodynamic heating and mechanical stress until the vehicle is outside of the Earth's atmosphere. Now, the aerodynamic shape of the fairing also contributes to Falcon 9's overall efficiency, helping to reduce drag while the vehicle accelerates through the atmosphere.
Once in space, the two fairing halves separate to expose the payloads to the vacuum of space. The fairing halves will then fall back to Earth, where they are recovered by SpaceX to be refurbished and reused on future flights.
Falcon 9 tanks are pressing for the start of strongback retract.
There you heard confirmation, preparing for strongback retract. So this evening, one of the fairing halves will be flying for its 15th time, and the other will be flying for its second time.
And right below the fairing, we have our second stage, which houses our single Merlin vacuum engine, or MVAC engine, which will take our payloads to their drop-off point. Now, below the second stage is the black carbon fiber inner stage, where the MVAC engine...
Strongback retract has started.
And good call out there for strongback retract start. Now, below the second stage is the black carbon fiber inner stage, where the MVAC engine is located. The inner stage connects the two stages and houses the center pusher that allows the first and second stages to separate during flight.
Moving down the vehicle, below the interstage, we have the first stage, which we tend to refer to as the booster. The first stage makes up the bottom two-thirds of the vehicle and is equipped with 9 Merlin 1D or M1D engines at the base. Those 9 Merlin engines do the bulk of the work to get the rocket off the ground and up to the thinner parts of Earth's atmosphere, generating more than 1.7 million pounds of thrust.
Now, at about 2.5 minutes into flight, the first stage will separate and make its way back to Earth, attempting a land-based landing at LZ2, not too far from the actual launch pad. And tonight's mission is the third flight for this booster. And if successful, this landing will mark SpaceX's 435th landing of an orbital-class rocket.
Now at T-minus 3 minutes and about 15 seconds, all systems continue to be go for an on-time liftoff. At liftoff, the transporter erector, or TE, will retract away from the vehicle to clear the way for Falcon 9's ascent, which you have seen some great views of on screen. Now, at this point in the countdown, both the first and second stages are nearly fully loaded with 1 million pounds of kerosene fuel and liquid oxygen. Falcon 9 uses two propellants, a refined form of kerosene called RP-1, or Rocket Propellant 1, as a fuel, and LOX, or liquid oxygen, as an oxidizer.
Now, at the T-minus 60-second mark, Falcon 9 will be in startup, and this means the rocket's autonomous internal flight computers will have taken over the launch countdown. And just inside of T-minus 2 seconds, we'll light the M1D engines for liftoff.
Stage 1 log load is complete.
Now, the Bandwagon-3 payloads continue to be healthy, and at this time, the Falcon 9 team is tracking no issues on the rocket. Currently, weather is green, and range is ready to support a T0 of 8:48 p.m. Eastern Time.
Now, if
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
And good call out there for Stage 2 LOX loading completion. Now, if for some reason we do not launch today, we do have a backup opportunity tomorrow at 8:26 p.m. Eastern Time. And as we enter the last 2 minutes of the countdown, let's listen in for the callouts. You may have noticed the white clouds around the vehicle, and those are completely normal and are comprised of the chilled gas in the LOX tank that is vented overboard so that we can backfill and maintain pressure in the tanks as needed.
Now, coming up next at the T-minus 1 minute mark, Falcon 9 will be in startup, meaning the rocket's autonomous internal flight computers will have taken over the launch countdown, and then just inside of T-minus 2 seconds, Falcon 9 will light the M1D engines for liftoff.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Now, with that confirmation, and next up, the launch director will give their final poll for launch, so let's listen in.
Launch director, go for launch.
And at T-minus 40 seconds, all systems are go for Falcon 9's launch of Bandwagon-3, so let's listen in to the final countdown.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Engines full power and liftoff. Go Falcon, go Bandwagon-3.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
Now at the T-plus 32 second moment, Falcon 9 has lifted off from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. We are currently throttling down to prepare for max Q, the point of maximum aerodynamic stresses.
Power and telemetry nominal.
On the vehicle, good call out there for power and telem nominal. You can monitor the vehicle's telemetry in the lower left-hand corner of your screen.
Vehicle is supersonic. Max Q.
And there we heard that call out for max Q. Now coming up shortly, we're going to have several events happening in quick succession. First is MECO, or main...
MVAC chill.
Good call out there. First will be MECO, or main engine cutoff, where all 9 Merlin engines will shut down in preparation for stage separation, which is where the first stage separates from the second stage. Following this, the Falcon 9 first stage will then perform a flip maneuver concurrently with the MVAC engine on the second stage starting up. Then we'll see the start of the boost back burn on the Falcon 9 first stage, followed by fairing separation. So keep an eye out for all of these events happening in about 30 seconds from now.
Main engine cut off. Stage separation confirmed. MVAC ignition.
Stage 1 boost back startup.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And there we heard those events that happened back to back, which again were main engine cutoff, stage separation, stage 1 flip, second engine start 1, the start of the boost back burn on the first stage, and fairing separation.
Now we are currently awaiting the conclusion of the boost back burn, which will properly orient the first stage for re-entry into the atmosphere, and the second stage is firing, which you can monitor in the lower right-hand corner of your screen.
Stage 1 boost back shutdown.
There's that confirmation of first stage boost back shutdown. So the next milestone coming up is entry burn on our first stage, scheduled to occur around the T+6 minute and 30-second mark. Now that boost back burn is complete, Falcon 9 will perform 2 more burns in order to land. The first of the 2 burns is entry burn, to slow itself down before hitting the denser parts of the Earth's atmosphere. You can think of this as similar to pumping the brakes on your car.
And without this burn, we'd only be using the atmospheric drag alone to slow down Falcon 9, which adds extra stresses onto the rocket. A single Merlin 1D engine will relight for this particular entry burn.
Following the entry burn, the booster will go through its final burn, the landing burn, which should slow the vehicle down even more for a successful landing.
Now, as you can make out on the screen there, Falcon 9 is equipped with 4 hypersonic grid fins, which are positioned near the top of the first stage, and those help steer the first stage as it returns back to Earth.
You may also notice the white puffs coming off of Falcon 9, and that comes from cold nitrogen gas, which helps with attitude control. These help to make small adjustments as Falcon 9 heads back to Earth.
Now, when Falcon 9 fires up the center M1D engine for re-entry, the vehicle will be flying through Merlin's exhaust gases, also known as the rocket's plume, which deposits a layer of soot on the vehicle's surface. And you'll see these marks across the flight-proven Falcon 9 first stage fleet.
Now the M1D engines on the first stage and the MVAC engine on Falcon 9's second stage are each optimized to perform in their unique operating environments. An M1D engine generates approximately 190,000 pounds of thrust compared to the MVAC engine, which can generate a little bit over 220,000 pounds. The MVAC nozzle extension, which you've seen in the views this evening, is also significantly taller with a larger diameter compared to the M1D engine for optimal performance in a vacuum environment.
Now, coming up in about 30 seconds from now, we should be hearing that call out for the Falcon 9 first stage entry burn. As a reminder, this booster will be performing this burn for its 3rd time this evening.
Stage 2 FTS has saved.
And good call out there. This booster previously supported the O3B Empower E mission and the NASA Crew 10 mission. And there's confirmation of that Stage 1 entry burn startup. This burn will last about 20 seconds.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
And that concludes our entry burn. So the first stage has one more burn left to prep for landing. As mentioned earlier, we will be attempting to recover this booster, targeting a landing at landing zone 2, which is not far from our launch pad.
Now, the Falcon 9 first stage is equipped with 4 landing legs, which are made of a carbon fiber with aluminum honeycomb mesh, and these are placed symmetrically around the base of the rocket and will deploy just prior to touchdown of the booster.
Now, you may notice the number 3 in today's mission name, indicating that this mission is
Stage 1 FTS has safed.
This mission is our 3rd dedicated rideshare mission to a mid-inclination orbit. Rideshare significantly increases access to space for small satellite operators around the world.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Now, this is the beginning of Falcon 9's final burn, the landing burn.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And there we have it, another successful first stage landing at landing zone 2, making the 3rd landing for this specific booster and SpaceX's 435th landing of an orbital class rocket.
Now, as that booster descended, you may have also seen the booster that previously supported our CRS-32 mission last night. And with confirmation of booster landing, we'll be bringing today's webcast to a close.
For those interested in learning more about today's payloads and deployments, head over to our customers' websites for more information. To stay up to date with all of our missions, check out spacex.com/launches for schedules.
We'd also like to thank all of our rideshare customers for entrusting us with their spacecraft today. And as always, a big thank you to the Range and the FAA for their ongoing support.
That will do it for us here at SpaceX Hawthorne. Good night, everyone, and thank you for tuning in.